Hello and welcome to Financial Conversations with Brian. Today I want to talk about the mass layoffs that are taking place right now and what you can do about it. Right now, companies like Starbucks, Blue Origin, Chevron, Estee Lauder, JP Morgan Chase, Kohl's, Meta Platforms, Southwest Airlines, Workday, CNN, they're all laying off. And not to mention the big boys, which is the federal government. We got the Veterans Affairs, Education, Energy, Health and Human Services, Homeland Security, IRS, National Park Service, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Justice Department Inspector General, and the State Departments. They're all getting axed. They're getting reduced. And it's all a part of Trump's plan to cut federal spending. And the companies are trying to get more streamlined and thin and lean. So if companies are doing it and the federal government is doing it, shouldn't you do the same for yourself? Nothing is guaranteed. No job is guaranteed. And a lot of these jobs, like, the Park Service or the IRS, the people that had these jobs probably thought that the job was golden, that it wasn't going anywhere. And a high-paying job. And that's the other thing about this, particular when you talk about government layoffs, or even like Chevron or some of these oil companies. It's not a job at McDonald's. McDonald's is actually but what I mean is it's not low-paying jobs. These are high-paying jobs. So where are these people going to go? If you're making, say, $70,000, $80,000 a year and it's gone, where do you go to get that same amount? Well, it's going to be harder to do. It's not to say that it's impossible, because with God all things are possible, but it's going to be harder, much harder. And that's why I've said in other videos, an emergency fund is a necessity. At least bare minimum 3 months. But if you can do 6 months or a year, even better. And don't think that, even though, you might have Social Security and a pension, pensions are not all guaranteed. There have been pensions that's gone bust, and they end up with nothing, or a reduced pension at that. Put my microphone up here closer to me. So you can't say that anything is guaranteed. Social Security could even get cuts. We don't know. I don't think that's Trump's plan, but we can't know 100%. So it's better to live your life like anything could happen. And people need to get over caring what other people think about them. If you tell them, hey, I cut the cable. I don't have cable no more. And I just stream everything now. Don't care what people think. Because the people who are going to criticize you for that, if you were to get in a bind and lost a good job and became homeless, are they going to help you? Probably not. So that's the reality. Look at everything. Groceries, I think about my groceries. I buy a lot of store brand stuff. I've tried them, and some of them are just as good as some of the national brands. So look at every single thing you can. Of course, home and car, those are big ones. Oh, I've got a visitor behind me. Let's see if I can get her up here with me. Come here, Willow. Come here. This is Willow, my Yorkie. She's a sweet little dog. I guess she's my alarm system. One of my alarm systems, aren't you? Aren't you my alarm? You let me know if I have to go get Boom Boom Stick? Yeah. She's a sweet little dog. She's just almost 2 years old. You're a good girl, aren't you? Hmm? Anyway, get back to what I was saying. You have to look at everything. I mean, even with pets. I mean, buying dog food in the stores can get expensive, and there's ways you can do it. You can make your own dog food. You just look it up, Google it. Homemade dog food, and usually it's healthier, and they like it better. I mean, they'll tear into it like there's no tomorrow. But let me use this example about an emergency fund. I'm going to go back to this just for a minute. If you have, let's say you had, I'm just going to make up a number and say you had $4,500 sitting in an emergency fund. Now, if your bare bones expenses are $1,500 a month, that's your 3 months. But now, if your living expenses are $4,500 a month, that's 1 month. So this is why a bare bones expenses is so important, because it makes that smaller amount into more time. And that's the most important thing. I've said it in other videos. I'll say it again until it's time to go see Jesus. Time is the most valuable thing. Time is more valuable than money. So things are like wealth is measured in time. So get those expenses as low as you can. I would look at everything. I think I've even said trash pickup before in another one, and I'm sure I'll probably get some funny comments about that, but my mother lives just not even 1 mile from my job. So on the day the trash comes by, I'll take it by and put it in her trash can. On the same day they pick it up, it's not sitting there all week in her trash can. It's sitting there for maybe a few hours. She doesn't have much trash because she lives alone, and she still has room left over after I put mine in there. So that cuts out $25 a month. Most people would look at trash and they say, this is a have to. Well, I want to challenge you to look at those and say, is it a have to? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. I mean, what if you lived out in the countryside, like way out in the country where there's hardly anybody around? Couldn't you burn it? Some of it? Most of it? You be creative. And we have so many resources. I mean, the internet, lowest cell phone plan, type it in, see what pops up. Who says who says it's the lowest insurance for your car or their home or whatever? Put it in. Lowest cost life insurance. Look it up. Take your list and just go by line and really think. Don't just scan over it. I'm saying look at each individual item with a magnifying glass and say, can this be reduced or eliminated? It'll make all the world of difference. You have to protect yourself. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I'd like to think that Social Security is secure. I certainly hope so. I want it in 12 years. I'm 50, and at 62, I want to take it early. I hope it's there. But even at that, you can't, even though I get a paper every year that says, oh, your estimated Social Security is this amount. Well, that's good, but there's always this little disclaimer down there. But at this year, it could be reduced to 80% of that amount. So we don't know. Bottom line, we don't know. So there's people that live on Social Security alone, and there's ways you can do it. I mean, There's things in some of my videos that would help you with that, to, like, say, eliminate the water bill in certain ways, or, you know, there's ways of doing it. However, it would be a very difficult life. It could be. Unless your Social Security payment's on the high end, then it's easier to do. Or if you waited till the full retirement age, or even age 70, which is the max, to take it, it could work out for you. But you really need to have other things going on the side, multiple streams of income. I'm all about that, because if any of those little streams dry up, your sustenance is not completely gone. You've got these other streams that are still pouring money in, and it may not be enough to cover everything, but it will be enough to cover something. So let's go back to the little, because I think the average Social Security check is around, I think they say around $1,500-1,600 a month is the national average. But anyway, let's just take that, and let's just say you had the $4,500 set in your emergency fund for your 3 months expense. But if you had a side hustle, and let's say your side hustle's brought in $500 a month, not counting your job or Social Security or whatever. Let's say your job went away and you've $1,500 a month expenses, but that $500 is still coming in. So technically, you only need to take $1,000 from your emergency fund to cover the difference of what you got. The other $5 plus $1,000 out of there to make your $1,500. Now your emergency fund just got stretched to 4.5 months, just because of a $500 a month side hustle. So side hustles are so important. And if you're 65 and older, and let's say, you're not very computer savvy or whatever, don't let that be an excuse. Just find a way. Learn. If you got family members that are good with computers, or they're good with these apps on the phone, these kids of today are amazing with their cell phones. I mean, they learn so fast. And these teenagers, you could probably even ask a middle school or a high school teenager, how do I do this app? And they'd probably show you, and you'd probably figure it out by watching them. There are so many different apps to make money with. It's just amazing. There's one that I use. It's called Field Agent. If you want to look it up, you can do mystery shops with this app, and they'll pay you to go, like, say, I did one the other week with Subway. I had to pay for the meal up front, and I used a cashback credit card to give me 5% cash back. So the bill's not due for, roughly 15 to 30 days, however it fell in that billing period. They paid me $8 plus reimbursed me for the sandwich. And I got 5% back on the amount that I paid for the sandwich. So not only did I eat for free, but I also got paid. If you only did 4 or 5 of those a month, one a week or whatever, I mean, that could make a difference. Look at every single thing. I know I've kind of ranted and gone on and on about this today, but I just want to say that, with all these layoffs going on, it's better to take action now than be somebody that gets to be a victim. And there's videos all over TikTok and YouTube, people recording themselves being laid off. Just type it in, recorded layoff or something. I'm sure it'll pop up probably 100 of them. And it's sad, some of these people are in tears because they have a lot of consumer debt,